On the morning of April 21st, 2025, the world awoke to solemn bells from the Vatican. Pope Francis, Jorge Mario Bergoglio, the first Latin American pontiff, had died aged 88 after a decade that shook the Catholic Church to its core. As pilgrims clutch white flags that read Grazie, Francesco, we retrace the improbable journey of the barrio boy who became the shepherd of mercy. Pope Francis, the Shepherd of Mercy. Born December 17, 1936, Jorge Mario Bergoglio grew up in the working-class Flores district, son of Italian immigrants Regina and Mario. A chemistry-obsessed teenager, he earned a technician's diploma before a bout of life-threatening pneumonia left him missing part of one lung, an early brush with fragility that shaped his empathy for the sick. Even as a kid, Jorge listened more than he spoke. In a city of noise, he noticed the invisible. Yet science could not silence a restless conscience. On a spring afternoon in 1957, while crossing the once seedy Calle Bolivar, Bergoglio felt what he later called a gaze of tender mercy. He entered the Society of Jesus that same year, choosing the order famed for intellectual rigor and global mission. By 1973, at just 36, Bergoglio became Argentina's youngest Jesuit provincial. His tenure unfolded beneath the shadow of a military junta. Critics accused him of failing to shield kidnapped priests Orlando Yorio and Francisco Djalich. Supporters claim he orchestrated quiet rescues. Decades later, Djalich forgave him, and newly declassified documents revealed Bergoglio hid dissidents in college dorms, proof that moral leadership in darkness seldom looks tidy. Horatio Verbitsky, he navigated terror with what we Argentines call viveza criolla, street-smart prudence. Saints aren't spotless, they're scarred. Appointed Archbishop of Buenos Aires in 1998, Bergoglio swapped limousine for bus pass, cooking his own meals in a downtown apartment. Parish priests recall a shepherd who washed the feet of recovering addicts on Holy Thursday. When named Cardinal in 2001, he urged Argentines to skip Rome and donate airfare to the poor. Conclave ballots coalesced around a 76-year-old outsider after frontrunner Cardinal Scola stalled. Bergoglio, Francis, the name itself signaled rupture, honoring Francis of Assisi, lover of the poor and creation. Cardinal Luis Antonio Tagle, he whispered to me, "May God forgive you," then smiled that disarming abuelito smile. Hours later, he paid his hotel bill in person, rode a minibus with cardinals, and stepped onto the world stage carrying a worn black satchel. Francis's first major text, Evangelii Gaudium, 2013, read like a manifesto. "I prefer a church bruised and dirty from being on the streets." Year after year, he would stretch the boundaries of papal rhetoric. "Who am I to judge?" he asked about gay Catholics. He likened the global market to the dung of the devil. "Time is greater than space. Senior Norma Pimentel. He told me, Las Peripheries are not a tactic, they're theology." But tenderness drew fire. Traditionalists decried confusion. Progressives wanted swifter change. Francis kept his Jesuit cool. "Reality is superior to ideas," he'd repeat. In 2015, Francis published Laudato Si, the first encyclical devoted entirely to ecology, framing climate change as a moral crisis. 8 years later, Laudate Deum thundered, "Our responses have not been adequate." At COP29 in Riyadh, his wheelchair rolled down the carpet as he told leaders, "The planet is not an asset but an heirloom." He translated 36,000 pages of data into parables grandmothers could quote. Francis's 2022 Constitution Predicate Evangelium flattened the Curia hierarchy, giving laypeople executive roles. He shuttered opaque bank accounts, forced out powerful cardinals, and created a list of shame for bishops who mishandled abuse cases. Allies hailed transparency, critics murmured witch hunt. Francis clocked more than 400,000 air miles, insisting the church has a frontier nature. He stepped onto Baghdad's rubble-strewn tarmac amid security fears, prayed among Yazidi survivors, and called the 2022 residential school's scandal cultural genocide. His gestures, simple, theatrical, unforgettable, spoke louder than encyclicals. Opposition sharpened. Some accused him of diluting doctrine, others of not going far enough on women's ordination. Benedict XVI's funeral in 2023 exposed a church pulling at its seams. Francis quipped, "A little noise keeps us awake." Yet health scares multiplied: colon surgery in 2021, knee degeneration, and, by early 2025, double pneumonia. His boldest gamble was the 3-year Synod on Synodality, running from 2021 to 2024. For the first time, women voted alongside bishops. Delegates wrestled with thorny questions: LGBTQ welcome, married priests, digital evangelization. In March 2025, a weakened Francis approved an 8-year implementation phase, urging a listening church. At 9:45 a.m., Cardinal Kevin Farrell, Camerlengo of the Holy Roman Church, pronounced Pope Francis dead, caused stroke and heart failure, weeks after bilateral pneumonia. Within an hour, world leaders, from the Dalai Lama to UN Secretary General Amina Mohammed, paid tribute online. The Jubilee of Teenagers, scheduled days later, proceeded in muted tones, an echo of Francis's insistence that hope cannot be quarantined. Historians will debate whether Francis was a revolutionary or merely a restorer of gospel basics. But even critics admit he changed the mood music of Catholicism. He framed doctrine in the grammar of mercy, shifted geopolitics of faith toward the global south, and made climate justice a Catholic talking point. Where earlier popes wielded censure, Francis wielded conscience. Where palatial pomp prevailed, he lingered with janitors and jailbirds. Dr. Paolo Ruffini, his only program was the Beatitudes. In the end, the man who asked us to create a culture of encounter leaves behind more questions than answers. One final invitation to dialogue. As the College of Cardinals files into the Sistine Chapel once more, the bells of St. Peter's toll not a period but a semicolon.